Hey, what's up, guys? Today we're going to be doing a tier list on 3.7 of the current healers that we have out. Now, there are some interesting faces on this list. We have like Xingqiu and Gorou and Zhongli. He's over at the end, we can't see him. And that is because these characters have the ability to heal other characters. And the reason why characters like Hu Tao or Dia aren't here are because they can only heal themselves. So it's kind of like irrelevant. Like like you wouldn't call them a healer. You like just call them kind of like self-sufficient or something. So they're not included. But all these characters that can heal other characters are included. So let's jump right in, and we're off to a strong start because we have Baizhu. Baizhu is like S tier. He can heal really well. He can heal when you pick up items. When you pick up fruits off the ground, it's great. He can provide flimsy shield, which is better than no shield by far. And I don't remember if he increases the damage of dendro reactions or if he decreases enemies' dendro resistance, but one or the other. Both are basically the same thing, which is pretty big, pretty huge. So all of those things in one, because he can do all these things that are very useful. It's easily he's easily an S tier character, and also dendro is a very powerful type. So even though we're ranking the healers, you know, there's also other utilities that they have that are very, very big to take into account. Next up, we have Barbara. Barbara is like the middle of B tier. She is as decent, but as as it gets. So she's free to play. If you get C6, she can revive a character, which is really cool. But she's severely outclassed. There are way better options, but she's a pretty solid pick. She's got like Hydra application. She's got like healing from her skill and her burst. She's a pretty solid pick, but there are way better options out there. But I wouldn't knock you for playing Barbara, especially early game. Like, you know, you built her, you just stuck with it, and then you just kept going. And the ocean stuff, the ocean hued clam set or whatever it's called, and like all the Kokomi stuff came out, and you're like, oh, I can play that on Barbara and just use her. So I wouldn't blame you, but there are definitely way better options you can go with. Next up is Bennett. Bennett's easily S tier. He can heal really well. I think you have to get one of his constellations, but whatever, man. He can heal really well, and he buffs attack, and he is a pyro character, which in the elemental resonance gives an increased attack buff. So assuming your main DPS is a pyro as well. It's a very cool interaction. He can do all these things while also having a pretty good skill. It has a very short cooldown, some pyro application if you need to break a cryo shield or something. There's so many things he does, and things he does really well. He's easily a S tier character, and I don't think I really need to go into very much in depth on why that is. Next up is Diona, who's another S tier character. Diona as a support is phenomenal. Maybe even better than Bennett. But I'll leave that for you to decide. She can heal and provide a shield off of her HP. And at C6, she can, if you're at more than 50% HP or something, she gives you elemental mastery of 200. 200 is a crazy number. 200 is if you have two-piece artifact sets that give you 80 elemental mastery, you have less than C6 Diona. And on top of all that, she's a cryo. Cryo has one of the best elemental resonances, and her burst it perpetually keeps the enemies affected with cryo. So she does all this and heals and shields everything pretty well. She's a very good character. Every time I speak about her, I'm yelling at myself in the back of my head why haven't I built her yet? Why isn't she here yet? But I don't know why. I don't feel like building her But I know she's really good, and I know I actually kind of want to play her, but I kind of don't want to go through the process of building her. So maybe in the future we'll see what happens. But for now, we'll just talk about how good she is at a distance. Next up is her cooler looking twin, but significantly worse twin, Dory. And I think Dory is an F tier character all around in terms of everything except for design and story. Because she's actually pretty interesting whenever she pops up. She's pretty fun, she's pretty funny. But however, she lacks in like everything else. You have to have like C4 for her healing and her energy recharge stuff to be like kind of decent. And C4 is like 5 Dorys too many, maybe even 6. And it's just not worth it. Like she just doesn't do enough. Her healing's not enough. And her healing, it only heals one character. And it doesn't, unless you have like Constellation like 2 or something, it doesn't do any damage, so it won't affect any like enemy with Electro. It's all around just really, really bad. Very, very like poorly designed character in terms of gameplay, not in terms of her actual design. Her actual design's like super sick, dude. Which makes it even worse that she sucks as a character. Her and Dia are like neck and neck to see who can be the coolest looking like bad character. However, all this aside, maybe if you have her like max constellation, maybe you can figure something out, maybe you can do something cool. But the amount of investment you have to put in to make her be kind of decent, you might as well build another character. She's outclassed by other healers, especially healers of the same I was gonna say genre, but of the same element. So definitely pass on her as a healer, or probably as anything, honestly. Next up we have Gorou. Now Gorou can heal at C4, and while I was doing research for this, a lot of people were saying like, oh man, at C4 he heals, and when you activate his burst and heals like off of his like defense, if he's at like certain stages of like because you know there's like his burst is like certain stages depending on how many Geo characters you have. And that's like, they made it sound like it was such a bad thing that you gotta get C4 Gorou. My brother in Christ, it's Gorou. Like, you need him C6 for a mono Geo team. Why? Like, why would you care about C4 Gorou when you need C6 for the crit damage? It doesn't make any sense on why that would be a complaint. In the traditional mono Geo team of Albedo, Zhongli, Gorou, and Ito, like, yeah, you have Zhongli shield, but it's free healing. Like it comes with like the little package of like the buffs. Like why wouldn't you like want that? Like if there's like a random enemy that like hits through shields or something, you're like, they broke just Zhongli's shield and like you're running out. Like, bro, it works. It happens. It's life. It's free, and it comes with a character that you already want like more constellations of. So like I don't see any issue. It's like moderately low healing. It's like 50% of his defense. So it's probably like his defense is probably gonna be like what, like 2,000-ish, maybe. Like, so his healing's probably gonna be like somewhere in the thousands, like per tick. That's not bad. That's free, bro. Like I wouldn't knock it. Like, I'm not gonna say he's like an S tier healer or anything, but I think he's I think he's probably gonna be bottom of B tier. No, I think it would be top of C tier, and that's with some love, because he's still like restricted to like geos, and you have to have like mono geo or a bunch of geos. So he's even though it isn't like he isn't like a bad character, he's a really good character, but only for like a small niche that is that's hard to like expand. The only issue with it. Next up we have Jean. Jean, I think, is an A tier healer because she has such a unique healing kit. So her skill does not heal, but her burst does heal. It heals the whole party, and then it has like this like dandelion field that's a circle, and being within that vicinity of that, it heals you, but it also damages the enemies. So it's very similar to Bennett and Diona's, but hers also damages the enemies. and that's pretty good. Like that on its own is like, all right, it's pretty solid. And I don't remember if her healing seals off of her attack or HP. It might be attack. And but what I really like about her is that when you get her one of her ascension talents, her normal attack has a chance to heal on hit. So while you're in a domain like slashing away at some like enemy that's too slow to attack you, she's like healing the entire party. And if it's a co-op domain, it's even better. And if the Hu Tao's in there, man, like you're gonna have a blast knowing that you're healing that Hu Tao. And this makes her like very versatile, very interesting, because you can build her to be like physical damage so that you can get like, so you can spam her normal attack and get the healing, which is what her signature weapon is based off of, because the substat is physical damage. So it makes her such an interesting character, such a fun character, and an effective character. She's extremely good at healing, as well as other things. Like she has like crowd control. She can like buff like attack speed if you pick up like elemental particles. There's all these things she can do. I think that last one needs constellation like 2 or something. But I mean, like, come on, it's been years. Like, you probably have a couple of G's and not in your closet. But she can do all these things on top of like healing. She can like DPS, heal, all this. It's like, it's pretty good. It's all pretty strong, solid character. I think definitely like A tier. Next up, we have Kokomi, easily F tier, horrendous healer. I'm just kidding. She's a really good healer. Everyone would put her in S tier for sure. And I'm gonna say probably lower S tier. Now I have some issues with Kokomi. Other than like, you know, the whole like she can't crit thing, which like sucks. It's like unnecessary restriction. But my issue with Kokomi is that the cooldown on the little squid, it's mainly the little squid. Like the little squid has like so many issues. The cooldown is like 15 minutes or something. It's like insanely long. So it's like sometimes like things are getting dire and like you still gotta wait, and like she doesn't have her burst either, and so you're just like standing there like trying to like stay alive and fight back without any healing, which can suck. Like it probably doesn't happen that often to anyone else other than me, but it's also like the ticks on the squid, it seems kind of like low. Like when it does hit, like you get like a bunch of HP. Like the scaling on her, like how you build her and everything, that's all simple, and it all effectively works extremely well. But I just feel like the squid is it's just a mess sometimes, man. I don't know if it's just me because I don't really like Kokomi that much, but like that squid will like absolutely like destroy me, man. Like I feel like sometimes I won't be like within range because like I'll be fighting an enemy and he'll do some like crazy attack and I have to get out of the way, and now I'm like I've lost like a tick or two from like his like giant AoE, and now I have to like run away and run back and try and salvage some healing, and like maybe they've like done like a follow-up move, or if they like infected the ground with some elements and now I'm taking damage. Like there's all these issues with the squid, and like when the tick does hit you, like bro, you do heal, and like it is nice to like get healed from Kokomi, but man, like sometimes that squid is just a pain in my ass, bro, and like I hate dealing with it. So I think she is a good healer, but like, man, I'd love to use just like so many other healers other than her, if applicable. Next up, we have Mika. Mika's another character that has like a very niche role. He provides buffs for attack speed, physical damage, and he can also heal. So these are all like cool things to have, but as of right now, there's not that many characters that like can really benefit from this. Maybe like, you know, the few like physical characters, you know, like Eula, Rosaria, Razor, maybe like a physical Beidou or physical Qiqi. But I mean, Beidou like attacks in like slow motion. Even with like an increase in speed, she might be like slightly normal. but it's it's all like really cool stuff. Like these are all good things. Don't get me wrong, but it's just it's another thing like Gorou where it's like a small niche, and then he just has like healing on top of it. But unlike Gorou, the healing's like built in. Like he already does the healing. Like there's no like, it might be an ascension or it might not, but you don't need like a constellation for it. Like he's just like out the box. He can do healing on top of all these other things. So I think high B tier is a pretty solid pick for him, and him I'm willing to like hear you out on. I mean, I'm willing to hear you out on any of these characters if you feel like I didn't place them right or if I didn't talk about it right, whatever the case may be. I'd love to hear it. But him, I'd really be interested because maybe there's something I'm missing. Maybe there's some crazy build with Mika as just a healer or something. Like that'd be pretty cool. But as things stand, I think he's just a niche character, and I think we need more characters to make him better. Moving on, next up we have Noelle. And Noelle is like, Noelle's in a funny spot. She's like she's a very slept on character. I think she's actually like, I think she's finally like pretty good. It took me a long time to like finally like say that because I've wanted her to be good, like be really good for a long time. But or my Noelle, like I know other people have had like crazy Noelles, but like it took me a long time to like, you know, get like the House of Opulent Dreams, get a proper team, get C6 Gorou, C6 Yunjin, and like, you know, all these stars had to align, and I was like finally like, you know, I sat down in my chair and I'm like, you know what, I'm happy now. Like I've accomplished Noelle being good. She's one of the first characters I built. It took a very long time, and a lot of characters who've been playing since the beginning, like I have, they have like so much love and appreciation for Noelle. But then like players who've been playing for like a while, since like, and like a lot of like other characters have been released, they have no love and respect for Noelle, man. It's crazy. But Noelle at her maximum constellation, which is pretty safe to say, you know, she's like more or less a free character. And you know, because you use like the summons, they give you summons, like these like 8 summons, you get her instead of 10, so it's like it's technically like kind of free because they give you the summons for that. But like she's like a starter character, like maybe not free, but like a starter. Even then, they might have given us a Noelle at some point. I don't know. It's been a while. However, like I was saying, at C6, she becomes an unstoppable unit. She can shield, heal, and DPS. So now we have characters that can shield and heal. We can heal and buff. We can heal and buff for decreased resistance. We can heal and we can DPS. But like we don't have the trifecta. She can do all of these things at C6 and can do them all really well. Which is the cherry on top, is that she can excel in all of these fields, and all you have to do is just go all in on defense. It's very cool, very interesting, very fun, and she just gets better like as things go on. Like we've gotten like all these like characters and builds and weapons and everything. Like she's just getting better and better. Like and like Geo's great. Like even though the reactions suck because it's all crystallized, you can just throw rocks at anything. Like any shield or any element type, just throw rocks at it and it'll work out eventually. It's very solid. I'm gonna put her in the top of B tier. If you disagree, that one I might not be willing to hear you out on. No, I'm just kidding. Next up we have Qiqi. I think Qiqi is like, I'm gonna put her in the top of A tier because I think she's an extremely good healer. Her healing is like very strong, and like that's like the only really good thing about her. I guess you have like cryo application on her skill, but that's like there's so many other characters you would play for cryo applications, but that's just like an added on bonus to her like immense healing. everyone gets like very upset when they wish and they get Qiqi. But when you hop into a co-op domain with some randos online and someone pulls up with the Qiqi, you feel nothing but bliss. You can't have one without the other. You can't have Qiqis in the world without like having to get them, you know? And like I think that's just a testament to how good of a healer she's been and how good she's always been. Not really too much else to say. Like I think she just got really strong healing, and it's very easy. Like it comes on like the talismans, and you just like hit a couple of times with a normal attack, and then it just appears. Or if you use a burst, and it like appears, and then like anyone can hit it, and you do damage to heal. It's like a vampire. It's really cool. It's like Hu Tao's like burst, but like for everyone. So it's really neat. Like Qiqi and co-op domains is like absolutely like the greatest. Like I wouldn't really play Qiqi, maybe if like just for like the cryo healer, but I wouldn't really play her in like a solo domain. But in co-op, bro, like everyone's gonna love you if you play Qiqi in the appropriate domains. Next up, we have Sayu. Sayu, I think, is actually an extremely good character. I'm gonna put her in A tier because even though people are gonna like sleep on her healing or whatever, because you have to like use her burst, or like you have to use like you have to get like a swirl reaction on her skill with little dash. What she really excels in is her like she's a pillar in my team for exploration. Exploration is like a really huge thing, and like, you know, when like a new area comes out, or you're like on the search for like some chests, or doing some random missions in like the desert or something, or you have to go across the plains of Leeway or something. You know, there's all these like things you have to run around for occasionally. And what makes Sayu really good is that she's an excellent exploration character, because wild animals don't run away from her. She can heal the entire party, and she can get around very quickly because of her skill. These are all things that like, and she's a claymore character, so that kind of helps with like mining ores. It's like random. That's like a very like minuscule thing, but like it is worth mentioning too. So she can do all these things to make exploration very easy. Because like when you're exploring, man, you can take HP from some dumb stuff. You can jump off and like not plunge attack in time or something. Something stupid happens. You miss the timing on it, and then you take a bunch of damage, or you die, and you bring them back, and then you heal them, or you get hit by a random enemy and like they break your shield or something. You know, all these things can happen. You can get burned by fire in the grass, and having a healer when you explore that can do all of these things is extremely good. That's why I think she's like A tier. Like she's such a good character, and like I don't hear anyone like praise her, bro. Like it's a bit upsetting. Next up, we have Shinobu. Shinobu, when I was doing research for this, no one was like putting Shinobu in a high tier. Shinobu is like an S tier character, bro. An S tier healer. She's like the absolute greatest. She is scaling off of HP and off of elemental mastery. You can go like all into elemental mastery, which is very important because her constant application of electro makes her insane with dendro and like hyper bloom, or like the other one. And what makes her work really well is that like she has this constant reaction, which is also constantly healing. Like the uptime on her like knockoweed ring that heals. It's like I don't remember the number off the top of my head, but it's pretty long compared to its like timer. It's like about the same as its timer. Maybe like no. Like at base, it's a couple of seconds less. So if the timer's like, if the cooldown's like 12 seconds, like her skill is up like 9 or something like that. And if you get like one of her constellations, it gets even better. It increases the uptime of it by like a couple of seconds, so it actually lasts longer than the cooldown. So as long as you like switch appropriately, it will always be up. Your team will always be getting healed in a solid, like pretty fast rate, like moderate amount, like maybe like 3,000 ish, but like rapidly coming in, bro. Like that's some really solid stuff right there. And she's got a pretty like meh ult. Like it doesn't do anything too wild for you. It's just like a reverse Amber's burst, where you're like shooting stuff off the ground or from the ground, and you just like swirl up. Like it's got a pretty like wide radius. I guess it's decent for like some kind of like crowd control or like reactions or something. Like I pop it every now and then just because it looks kind of cool. But other than that, like her skill is just extremely good. The scaling on it, the fact that you can go all into elemental mastery, and then like you have like options for all these like different artifacts you can run. Personally, I prefer the tenacity of the Millilith to increase her HP by some, so that she gets like even more scaling for her healing, and it also buffs the party because it's like up for so long and it's constantly hitting enemies. Like it's gonna trigger, man. So she's had such an impact. She's been like a meta character ever since like Densho came out, and like people have like slept on her. I built her when she first dropped, bro. I was like, this is the homie, and I was right to do so. She turned out to be very, very good. Next up, we have Xingqiu. And now, even though I was ranking all these characters based off of the roles they play and the position of healer they have, this is a very strange character to rank, because Xingqiu is a very good character. Maybe that's even an understatement. He's an extremely like useful character for not Dendro. Well, I guess Dendro too. For hydro reactions with his Guhua swords or whatever they are. And the weird part is that the swords can actually heal, but they heal extremely little. It's like negligible. It heals like 6% of his HP per sword, which is like if he has like 20,000 HP, it's like 1,200 HP per sword, which is like man, like are you even gonna notice it? It might even be less. My math might be wrong. I don't know. I don't feel like going through all that, man. But like it's somewhere around there. It's a pretty low amount, but like it's free, and it's like an added bonus. Like you get healing on top of like interruption resist and the hydro application and all this cool stuff going on. So it's like man, like as a support, he's S tier, but as a healer, he's like C tier. So I guess we'll continue on where I've been going, because in all like he is an S tier character, but his healing like lacks, but like he makes up for it in all these other ways. I guess the interruption to resist is like really, really nice too. Like I don't have a Xingqiu, but like that's like some really cool stuff. But yeah, even though his healing's like not the best, it's like free. It's free little bits on top of all this other cool stuff. He's basically like Gorou, but he's way more like open to like what teams you can play him with. He's much more like what's the word? He's much more mix and match. No, free, I guess. He's like somewhere around there. You know what I'm trying to say. Much more lenient. Many more options. The word for many more options. This is something like that. He's got many more options for the teams you can build. Expansive. Damn it, I really can't think of the word. But yeah. So, like I said, his healing's just low, but everything else he just excels in. Well, not everything else. Well, I guess everything else, basically. It's like he can do like crazy damage with his reactions if you build him with elemental mastery and all that. So, I guess yeah, like in all other cases, he like is really good. Next up, we have Yaoyao. Now, I sit on a weird fence when it comes to Yaoyao. because she's a Dendro character and a Dendro healer, which is really good because you know Dendro hurts you with the bloom cores or whatever, so that can get a little scary. But having someone to heal you on top of that, it's really nice. So it works really well, just like Baizhu. But you know, you have Baizhu, so Baizu's already like better, right? But then it's like, you know, you have a 5-star and a 4-star. Well, what does Yaoyao excel in? Yaoyao excels in exploring and having critters, animals not seeing you, so you can sneak up on them, and healing, applying Dendro. She's like a combination of Baizhu and Sayu, but missing certain things. She doesn't have the Dendro resistance that, or the Dendro like added damage that Baizhu grants you, and the little shield. And she doesn't have the dash that Sayu has, and the other thing that Sayu had. No, they both have the same ability. But oh yeah, she doesn't have a claymore, man. She can't break those ores. So Yaoyao is like a combination of these two, but I think in a negative manner. I don't think she's as exploration friendly. I don't think she's like as like crazy as Baizhu. I think she's like outclassed by like both of these in their respective fields, and on top of being, you know, a very annoying character and not really that well, I think she's carried by being a Dendro character. I think if she was any other element type, she would be like horrendous. Like no one would really care for her. She would do like nothing. It's just the fact that she's a Dendro. It really makes her like oh, she's got like some kind of use. Like she's our like our Baizhu that we have at home, or like the Walmart, you know, the store brand. Like I'll be a little nice, put her in B tier, but she's not gonna be as like useful in exploration as Sayu. She's not gonna be as impactful as Baizhu. And we'll leave it at that. And lastly, we have Zhongli. Zhongli is a healer at Constellation 6. And even though I said I was going to be ranking characters on them, you know, healing and other support roles, I guess I should call this like supports / healer. Nah, because then I have to include all these other goofballs. So just stick to healers. But the thing about Zhongli is that he shields extremely well, and he has a crowd control burst that can petrify them, keep them like, in stone in place for a couple of seconds. Really, really nice. And his shield at C2, you can, whenever you use his burst, it applies his shield to all your team members in co-op. Really neat. And when the shield breaks at C6, it heals everyone for some of the damage it took. That's really, really nice. The issue is that Zhongli is a 5-star character. You have to get C6 on a 5-star character, which is not cheap. I know, because I have one. And it's unreal. Like he's I think he's a low tier healer because you have to go through so much damn work to get him. I think he's still better than Dory as a healer. I 1000% would get C6 Zhongli before I play Dory as a healer. But like the amount of like gems you have to save, the amount of like credit cards you have to max out, mortgages you have to take up on your house, it's insane. Like it's not worth it. I mean, like he's a really good healer at C6, yeah, but it's just not feasible. It's not gonna be like an option. Like maybe some of you watching have him C6 and heal, and you are just absolute godsends in co-op, but it's too much. It's like what they were like people were saying about Gorou, like, oh man, you need C4 for him to heal, but that's not an issue. He's a 4-star character and you want him C6 anyway. This is a 5-star character. It's not happening. He's not gonna be good as a healer because he's too difficult to get as a healer. it's a little unfortunate, but it's a really cool addition. Like it just adds so much to his character. But man, it's probably not gonna happen, man. So that's gonna be it for this video. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Let me know if you have any ideas, suggestions, whatever you think I should do next, whether it be tier list, memes, whatever, just let me know. And thank you guys for watching, and take care, and make sure you watch make sure you check out the tier list playlist or some wishes. Check out some other videos that pop up on screen. See ya.